What up, football family? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Show. I'm your host, PL Culture. All right, it's week 6, ballers and ballettes. That means we're 2 weeks into the bye week season, and a lot of us are left scrambling, looking for some bye week replacements because of, I said, bye weeks, or because they got hobbled with some injuries. If you're looking for some waiver wire picks that may be flying under the radar, have a chill pill. You came to the right place. All right, so let's get started. Now, if you're down a wide receiver, a Julio Jones or a Andre Johnson who's hobbled, or one of the several that's out on bye week, Dwayne Bowe, and on, you may want to take a good hard look at Pierre Garcon, wide receiver of the Indianapolis Colts. Now, we all saw Garcon's 2-touchdown performance in Curtis Painter's first start against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a couple of weeks ago, and I know a lot of you all may have thought that it was a one-hit wonder. If you did, put this on pause, go run to your waiver wire, cross your fingers, and hope that that player is still there. Why? Because ever since Curtis Painter's gotten inserted into the lineup, the wide receivers, their value has skyrocketed, especially Garcon. The last 2 starts he's had with Curtis Painter, he's had 4 touchdowns and over 300 yards. So with that being said, if he's sitting on your waiver wire, go pick that brother up. Now, his matchup this week, it's the Cincinnati Bengals, who haven't been terrible on pass defense, but when you're the Indianapolis Colts, the only thing you have to hang your hat on is pass. If you're trying to win the game and it's competitive, you need to pass. If you're down by a lot, you need to pass. Either way, garbage receptions count just the same as receptions to win the game. Get that man into your lineup. Now, if you're down a running back or you need a flex spot and you want to pick up a running back to fill that slot, Ryan Terrain from the Washington Redskins is the guy to fit that bill. Now, he may have fallen off some people's radar because they had a bye week last week, they being Washington. But prior to that, he saw some pretty good touches against the St. Louis Rams to the tune of 135 yards and a touchdown. Now, at that point, he came in for a hobbled Tim Hightower, but he should be scheduled to get the start this week. Let's not forget that Terrain was a favorite of Mike Shanahan, coach of the Washington Redskins, last year, but he always stayed injured. So that's why they made the moves to bring in Halu and Hightower over the offseason. But Terrain was Shanahan's guy, but he's healthy now and he's back in the lineup. And he has pretty much what I would call the best matchup of the weekend. I mean, they're facing a Philadelphia Eagles defense that's been absolutely Swiss cheesed up lately. I mean, check out this stat, ladies and gentlemen. The last 4 games, they've given up 209 yards a game just to the running back position. The running back position alone. So for the foreseeable future, until Andy Reid can get that defense fixed, you may want to take a look at starting any running back going against the Eagles, especially one that can get it done like Ryan Terrain. So get that player into your lineup, player. All right. Now, this week, we're going to unveil a new segment. I call this segment my Cream Team Pick. Who's the Cream Team? I'm glad you asked. Now, week in and week out, every Wednesday or Thursday night, you see me in front of your YouTube screen giving you all the latest and greatest picks that's flying under the radar. But ladies and gentlemen, there is no I in team, and I cannot do this alone. I'm absolutely thankful and blessed to have a talented group of fantasy footballers that work with me throughout the week, researching, fighting over picks, which one makes the show, which one doesn't, and I trust their judgment. So I feel like it's only fitting that they get their shine as well. So with that being said, let's get on to some of my Cream Team picks. Oh, before we do that, why do I call it the Cream Team? Quite simply, the picks are money, baby. Spank your bookie with these picks. Take it to the house. Bet your money on these. All right? So let's get started with that. First up, my Cream Team member, Mr. Danny P, a.k.a. Infinite Turbo, is telling all of y'all to go out to the West Coast and pick up Darius Haywood-Bay off your waiver wire. I know he's sitting out there because I've seen him on most of your leagues. Now, why Haywood-Bay will be a good pick this week? Well, quite frankly, he's been on a hot streak. I mean, he's averaged over 100 yards a game the last 2 weeks, and he even hauled in a 34-yard touchdown last week against Houston. Now, this week's matchup against the Cleveland Browns, it serves him well. Now, statistically, they're ranked in the top 5 in pass defense, but let me break down another little tidbit for you. The last time I saw the Browns secondary on the field, They were chasing a tight end who had an 80-yard touchdown catch on a catch and run. A tight end. Now, last I checked, Darius Haywood-Bay had world-class track speed. Can y'all see a couple of plays going up top to Haywood-Bay? A couple of big plays? Maybe a couple of long touchdowns? Get that play into your lineup this week, all right? All right. Now, moving on. We have another Cream Team member who's going to get some spotlight this week. This is my man, 50 grand, my homie, my ace, Mr. Rodrigo Alcaraz, a.k.a. I just witten my pants. For those of y'all who can't make out my country dialect, that's Witten as in Jason Witten of the Dallas Cowboys, as in he's a cowboy homer. I digress. That's my man, 50 grand. All right. Now, speaking of Cowboys, ironically enough, he's telling you to go pick up Laurent Robinson, wide receiver of the Dallas Cowboys. Trust this man. He's a Cowboys fan. He knows his stuff. Now, for those of you who may be saying back to the screen, but PL, I thought that Miles Austin and Dez Bryant was healthy and coming back this week. You're right. Still doesn't matter. Why is that? I'm glad you asked. For one, since week 1, we really hadn't seen Dez Bryant and Miles Austin play a complete game together where they're going full speed. Really, if you don't count the first quarter of the game against the Jets, we hadn't seen it all year. Now, the last time we saw Miles Austin on the field, he was ripping apart the San Francisco 49ers. It led them to a key win. But he hadn't been on the field since week 2, and we're not exactly sure of what kind of football shape he's in, how effective he's going to be, how many snaps he's going to play. Also with Dez Bryant, I mean, if you look at his numbers, I mean, he's the MVP of the league if you only play in the first quarter. But he absolutely disappears after that. I'm a Dez Bryant owner on my fantasy football league. A lot of you guys out there and gals understand my pain. With that being said, everybody actually took notice to the wrong thing in reference to fantasy football when they watched the Dallas Cowboys' massive collapse against the Detroit Lions. Everybody wants to talk about the Pics, the Pick Six, Tony Romo. We get it. What you didn't realize was that Laurent Robinson quietly had 10 catches for 165 yards against a pretty good defense with very little time and a brand new system. Now, this week, their opponent is the New England Patriots, they being the Cowboys, which works favorably in Robinson's favor. And this is why. Well, for one, the New England Patriots are an absolute beast, especially at home on offense. So you're looking at 30 plus points with Tom Brady just hitting the field. Now, what that means for the Cowboys offense and for Robinson specifically is they'll need all hands on deck to stay competitive in this game. I really don't see the Cowboys defense with all their improvements with Rob Ryan stopping them to the point to where they won't have to win the game on offense, they being the Cowboys. So the Cowboys will have to throw because that's the strength of their team. And it just so happens to be the weakness of the New England Patriots. If they do have one Achilles heel, it's that horrible secondary. I mean, they couldn't cover a bed with a bedspread. It's been absolutely terrible. 32nd ranked in the league and not even nowhere close to 31st. So what that means also is it's going to be plenty of love to spread around, whether Dez gets his, whether Jason Witten gets his, whether Miles Austin gets his. I mean, Bill Belichick is going to have to game plan for somebody, right? And I'm pretty sure that person won't be Laurent Robinson. He's had an extra week with the bye week to get some more cohesiveness and some more chemistry with Tony Romo. And he will not be a bad pick. As a matter of fact, he's our super duper pick for those who be sleeping on my Cream Team staff. All right? So, with that being said, hit those guys up and get them into your lineup. Good looking out, D Peasy. Good looking out, my man Rodrigo. Now, we move on to our Homer Alert pick for Week 6. Now, if you're not sure what the Homer Alert is, go back to Week 1, catch up on the series. We're going to keep this show moving right now. All right. Now, if you're a fan of Mr. Michael Vick and he's in your starting lineup, please be on Homer Alert. Why is that? Well, for one, yes, Vick is a physical specimen and an athletic beast in his own right. But he's been wildly inconsistent. I mean, if you really break down his numbers, 8 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. He's getting hit a lot, whether he's running or passing the ball. And this week's matchup for him is absolutely brutal. The Washington Redskins defense right now is quietly second in the league against the pass. And they pretty much shut out some very notable quarterbacks. Eli Manning in week 1. They held Tony Romo out of the end zone in week 3. So that's something that you should definitely consider when thinking about playing Michael Vick. Also, you want to add the human element in all of this. I mean, they're 1-4. They just had a players only meeting like they're in college, but I digress. But they're going to be up against the Washington Redskins. They can't afford to lose this game. And desperate teams do desperate things. Desperate quarterbacks revert back to their instincts, which means that he's probably more likely to run rather than hit his checkdowns, and that leaves him susceptible to getting put out of the game. Now, you know Washington's defense is not going to take it easy on him. They'll be more than happy to oblige him trying to sneak out for a 10-yard gain here, 20-yard gain there. So if you have a viable backup on your bench with a better play, don't worry about your ego. Don't worry about your friends. You want the victory. Get him out of your lineup. Put a better matchup in there. All right? So this concludes the Fantasy Football Show for Week 6. Certainly wish everybody luck and hope that they get that W this weekend. As we always like to say around here, life is a sport, so always play to win. The viewer's pick has not gone anywhere. If you got a hot pick that you want to let the world know, drop me a line on the comment section, and we'll be sure to profile you in next week's episode. Or if you have one during the week, you can hit me up on Twitter at PL Culture. That's at PLCOLTER. In closing, I'd like to tell you that it's your boy PL. I'm out. God bless.